church? Yes, they of course they would. They'd be eligible for membership in our church. But would they be permitted to participate in, embody, and practice what I would call black culture generally in our church? The answer is absolutely not. Why? Because the characteristics that mark black culture as a generalization, in the same way Paul's talking about Cretans on Crete, they are evil, murderous, violent, bestial people. They steal, they kill, they destroy. They look like Satan in how they act. They are sinful to the core. They have besetting sins that are like fatherlessness, sexual immorality. They molest children at a high rate. All of any criminal statistic that you could look at, almost pretty much without exception, they excel at them. Black culture. So when we make this generalization, one of the purposes of it, one of the points of utility for it, is for black people who do not embody that culture to repudiate it, hate it, and also for policymakers to make the kind of political movements and in terms of law and order that would usher in the change over time of that culture. One of them would be something like, I tweeted about this, the law of Moses in Deuteronomy 21 concerning a rebellious child. If 5 to 6% of black, I think it's something like 5% of black males are murderers. Think about that?
Yeah, 5% of young Africans are committing the bulk of the murders.
So if you had 100 black men in a room, even just, I think specifically, if you had 100 black men in a room, 5 of them would have committed murder, which is a lot, quite a few.
Well, as Matt Walsh pointed out, the actual number of blacks who are committing murder is more than whites. Right. And whites are significantly greater.
60% compared to 13% of
percentage of the population. Yeah.
So if you take that, and then you took a law like Deuteronomy 21, which is a just law that God enacted through Moses. The law was that if you had a rebellious son, you have a child they're coming up into their manhood and they're rebellious, they don't listen. He lists some characteristics, and even though they're disciplined, they will not turn. He says the fathers to bring them out into the town square. This is a rebellious son, and then they stone him to death. They kill him.
And an armed robber would certainly be one of those.
Oh, absolutely. Armed robber, all the ghetto
violent
culture.
crimes.
Basically, take ghetto culture, it would describe this to a T. If you did that over 3 generations, how much violent crime would you have?
Shalom, Kolayim La, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Also, the bonds tells with GMS, and honest you, Akim. Peace and bless you, brothers and sisters that listen to Church of the Firstborn, the hopeful elect, Kolayim La, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And it's all about Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, man. You know, we do this work, man. You know, we push Yahweh Shai, man. And, doing this quick video today, it's probably Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. I seen a brother do a video on this. And I seen an article starting to make rounds now on this demon, Brian Suave, I think his name. This so-called Edomite pastor, which you Edomites, you so-called white people, you're not Christians, man. You are the devil. You are Esau. You are the wicked. You are the man of sin. And I'm going to get that precept in Psalms, the 50th chapter. But he pretty much highlighting the degeneracy of black culture and saying that a lot of you jakes need to be put down. Like when you read Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter, on a rebellious son. He's saying that our people are vile, they're wicked, they're evil, right? They're violent. Pretty much coming in the spirit of CK. And a lot of these Edomites are using these talking points in these last days. And we told you, Jakes, that this man was the devil, man. We told you that, man. Where are you black Christians at, man? What do you have to say about that, man? The God logics out there, man. Are you going to rebuke this man? See, you want to be hand in hand with these devils, man. And they don't like you, man. All right. Now, he said that. And he's getting a lot of backlash. And, these devils, they don't care. These so-called right-wing activists, like they coming in the spirit of CK, which the ironic thing about CK, he got taken out by another Edomite. He talked all that shit about Jake, right? And he got taken out by his own, man. Okay? But like we said, you devils, man, you're the reason why, which ultimately it is Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. When you read Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, that is a part of the curses. That the Most High said that what? That he will smite our people with madness. Okay? You don't know who you are. You could be shaped and molded into anything. And our people, vast majority of them are brute beasts, man. Okay? But also when you read Proverbs chapter 12, verse 26, let me get that. Because you devils, you're not going to get off, man. The scripture says this, Proverbs 12, verse 26. It says, the righteous, who's the righteous? The Israelites. We receive the law. Who are the Israelites? You Negroes, you Hispanics, and you Native American Indians from the line of your fathers. You are the biblical Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites, according to the Bible, man. Okay, we're not black. We're not African American. We're not Puerto Rican or Mexican. Those are bywords and proverbs, man. That's not who we are. We're the sons of the power. Okay? And we're telling you the reason why we're in this condition. The reason why we're underneath this, man, is because we're underneath the curses for our disobedience. Right? The reason why we're in the slums and we slay and kill each other and we have that hatred, that's all in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. That's what we highlight when we go out there, man. Right? But Yahweh Shem Shah has given a remnant of us the truth, man. But the precept says this, though. This is a point I want to get. Proverbs 12:26. The righteous, which is us, we're the righteous, is more excellent than his neighbor, these nations. But the way of the wicked, who's the wicked? Malachi, the 1st chapter, Aishah, you so-called white people, you Caucasians. Okay? You're the wicked. You're the biblical Edomites. The way of the wicked seduceth them. So where did they get that from? Where did they get those violent attributes from? They got it from you. Okay, even when you go into the gangs, right? That mainly come from you Europeans, man. The Germans had their mafia, the Irish, the Italian, okay? The Amalekite, the Jewish mafia, okay? That all came from you, man. Right? Jake didn't start getting involved in gangbanging until the 1960s, after they killed off all the leaders, right? After they got rid of Martin Luther King. They got rid of Malcolm X. They took down the Panthers, right? Then a lot of them, Jake started getting involved in gangs, started getting involved in drug trafficking, right? And who gave them the drugs? The drugs. You Edomites, man. That's a known fact. The CIA, Oliver North, right? First was heroin and then mainly the crack cocaine. That came from you, man. You destroyed the homes, right? Empowered the women. You see? You created that monster you call the ninja. And then he turns around and he blames you and he accuses you. Right? And we've been underneath this man so long that we took on his ways. A lot of our people, man. Obviously, we repented from that. Right? When you read, we're no longer underneath the prince of the power of the air. Or let me get that, Ephesians 2nd chapter. And Aishah, he promotes death. Right? He controls Hollywood. He controls the music industry. See? So let me get that. Ephesians, the 2nd chapter. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2. It says, wherein in times past he walked according to the course of this world. All of us. According to the prince of the power of the air. Who's the prince of the power of the air that's going to Satan on down to his minions. His physical children, you Edomites. Right? You control the media. Right? You're the prince of the power of the air. You control the influence. What get pushed out there. You push nothing but negativity and death. All right. The spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. That's 2/3. OK, it says among whom we had all our conversation in times past in the lust of our flesh, because we were walking after the prince of the power of the air, pleasing the flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind. We were by nature the children of wrath, even as others. But the Most High, who is rich in mercy for his great love wherewith he loved us, even when we were dead in sins, have quickened us together with the Mashiach. He gave us Yahweh Shai, man. Right? Not Jesus Christ. Okay? That's another thing, man. That's another thing about that demonic Christianity. Right? You got a church on every corner in the hood, and they're not teaching you your nationality or who you are. Right? They pushing nothing but damn propaganda and lies. Okay? Teaching you that you're a Hamite. Right? They taught in the past you're underneath the curses of Ham. Okay? Teaching you that the Lord is a so-called white man. So Christianity, and man, thank Yahweh B'Shem Shah that we escaped that as well, man. That stronghold has been cast down. Okay? So pretty much like we got going on, and we realize that sentiment for a minute now with these Edomites. They're blaming the downfall of this country on you, man. You are the scapegoat. Right? That's right. Trump, ICE agents. First of all, Jake didn't have power to open the borders. Jake is not the reason why the economy is fucked up, or you got tariffs, or the government is shut down, right? Or a lot of you Edomites, and your children that curse the opioid crisis or the fentanyl. Jake had no power over that, man, right? But it proves that this man is Nero, right? He's making you the scapegoat, right? Like Nero did in times past. He caused different fires and he blamed it on the Christians or the Israelites. Well, that's what Aisha is doing right now, man. Blaming everything on you. And first of all, that devil, he's in Utah. But there ain't no Negroes in Utah, man. How does black and black crime affect you? Right? And they have a whole prison industrial complex. They profit off you Negroes going to prison. Certain communities, that's their only source of income. Right? Is that whole prison system. Right? That's free labor right there, man. See? But let me get, that's why Job said, let me get Job 30:1. Right? So, we happy you Edomites, you shown who you truly are, man. Right? Take that hood off, man. Job 30:1. It says, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision. Who's that going into? That's going into you Edomites. Okay? You are younger than us because you came out of two, so-called black people, Isaac and Rebecca. All right. You come out of us, Esau, man, whose fathers I have not disdained to have set them with the dogs of my flock. That's how low you devils were. Okay. Especially when we came out of when the Roman Empire fell, y'all went back into the caves, right? Y'all were on the same level as beast. So Job said, listen, they that are younger than me, and that's the fact right now, they have us in derision. They mocking us, man. That's why in their constitution, they say you're 3/5 of a man. You have no divine creed or no nationality. All right. I remember even that demon that they just CK. Remember he said that Negroes were better off in the 1940s. Right. During the time of segregation, and Jake was getting lynched and killed. He said, listen, but they committed less crimes. Right? So these devils, man, they don't care, man. And we've been telling you Israelites that, man. Right? Let me get Isaiah the 51st chapter. Isaiah chapter 51, verse 22. Let's start from verse 17. It says, awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, that is people for as a place, which has drunk at the hand of Yahweh Bashem Al-Shah the cup of his fury. What's the cup of his fury? Psalms the 75th chapter, right? Part of that cup was slavery, captivity, being underneath our enemies or losing our nationality, right? Bywords, proverbs. That's all a part of the cup or the fear of Yahweh Bashem Al-Shah, right? That has drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling and wrung them out. We got drunk off that cup. Right? There's none to guide her among all the sons whom she had brought forth, neither is any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she had brought up. These two things are come unto thee. Who shall be sorry for thee? Nobody. Right? They all clap their hand. They all mock you. That's I read Job the 30th chapter. They have us in derision. We're the laughing stock. Okay? That's why they used to put up all these stats. Right? Oh, you're the most single parent households, the most violent, right? The most incarcerated. The scripture says what? Let's read it again. Who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction and famine and the sword. By whom shall I comfort thee? Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in the net. And that's these ninjas in the hood, man. Right? With their pants sagging, the Pooh Shiesty mask on, killing and destroying one another, drill music. Scripture says they're like wild bulls in a net. They are full of the fear of Yahweh Bashem Al-Shah, the rebuke of thy power. right? They full of the fear of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. All right. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith the Lord thy power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, thy power that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I've taken out of the hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again. And this goes with Lamentation, the 4th chapter. This is our last captivity, man. This was the worst captivity. Okay? But the Most High said, after this, we no longer going to drink it again. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, you Edomites and you nations, in Psalms the 83rd chapter, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that they may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over. Right? Spiritually and physically, they did that to us in captivity. Right? We were literally their footstool, man. But Yahweh Bashem Yahushua said, listen, I'm going to take that cup and I'm going to transfer it over to them. Right? Let me get this next precept. Psalms the 50th chapter, man. Matter of fact, let me get Daniel the 7th chapter. So call him not Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You know, you devils, you can keep mocking. And this goes actually with Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter. Right? We're going to, Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. We're going to stand in great boldness, all right, against those that afflicted us and made no account of our labors. That's what they say. Oh, you don't deserve no reparation. Stop complaining. Pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. Right? Stop wondering about the past. Well, the scripture tells you that the Most High desireth that which is past, man. You got to pay for that. Just like y'all have your Memorial Days and you remember certain events in the past. Well, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is the same way, man. And you're going to pay for it in blood. Let me get Daniel chapter 7, verse 20. It says, and the 10 horns that were in the head, and of they which came up, before whom 3 fell. Right? Which we know the 10 horns is going into NATO, the EU, I should say, the European Union, which they have 12 stars, which is really 10. All right? It says, before whom 3 fell, which the 3 major powers was the British, the French, and the Spaniards. Even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake great things, whose look was most stout than his fellows. Who's that? That's America. These devils over here, they're more stout, or they're more pompous or bold than they fellow Edomites, man. They're more ignorant than they fellow Edomites, man. Like you heard that crackpot talking about he's a pastor, man. Even the Russian Edomites know that the saints, the original church fathers, the Israelites were people of color, man. Vladimir Putin just opened the the vaults the other day, right? But these Edomites in America, man, they the lowest of the low. And the scripture, that's where you got that proud devil Trump in office, man. And fellow Edomites can't stand that dude, man, in Europe, man, because they're more stout or they're more bold than their fellows. And this is the point I want to get out, verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, which he have, all right, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, right? And he has worn us out. Esau has worn you Israelites out, man, right? How? By waging war on you all the time, through all the different wars and the massacre and the slavery and the genocide, man, right? And flooding your neighborhoods with crack cocaine and heroin, splitting up the homes, prison industrial complex, the redlining. He has worn out the saints of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right? So now Jake is just addicted to the pain, man. Like masochists. They got Stockholm syndrome. They love being at the bottom. Right? Now they just self-destruct. Our people, they just devour one another. Because the scripture says what? They've been worn out. We've been underneath this man for too long. But let me get Lamentation, the 3rd chapter. Let me get Psalms, the 50th chapter. I'm going to close this out soon. I just want to do this quick video to the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua on these devils. They no longer hide in their racism. Okay? Lamentation 3:22, it said, it is of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua's mercy that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. And if it wasn't for Yahweh Bashem Shah, man, the only thing we got going is that we are the chosen people, man. If not, we would have been no different than them Hamites. Okay? It's through the Lord's mercy that this devil didn't completely destroy us, man. He had a remnant. Look what they did to Gad, man. Look what the genocidal acts he did to Gad. He took the entire continent. But they have the nerves to talk all that shit, man. And broke all 400 treaties and put them on reservations and had Jake build up this kingdom for free. Right? We can't even get crumbs, man, without selling your soul. Okay? Man. Can't wait, man, to have you damn. Let me get Psalms, the 50th chapter. Let me get Psalms 50, man. It's a classic precept. Psalm chapter 50, verse 16. It says, but to the wicked, and this cuts you Edomite pastors, Edomite Christians, but unto wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? This cuts you Amalekites as well. Right? Talking about you keeping the Day of Atonement. What do you have to do to declare my statutes or even put your hand on the Bible? Or thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth. Seest thou hatest instructions and cast my words behind thee. Right? They swear on the Bible and they don't keep no laws in it, man. All right? When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him and hast been partaker with adulteress. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, thou tongue frameth deceit. How? Let's read verse 20. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, like that demon, right? Thou slanderest thy own mother's son, right? Going back to Jacob and Esau, man, right? They slandering. The scripture says what? Thou slanderest thy own mother's son. Who's the Most High speaking to? Verse 16. He's speaking to the wicked. And like we said, Malachi, the first chapter, you Edomites are the wicked. And you slandering Jacob right now, right? You have us in derision. Verse 21, these things thou hast done, and I kept silent, right? So he's been on a rampage ever since he came out of since the Renaissance for Revelation, the 20th chapter, right? Lying, deceiving, destroying, said that he was the Lord. That's him blaspheming, right? Putting a false people in the land. See? Doing all these atrocities to Jake, man. So the scripture says, after he did all that, the Most High said what? He kept silent because he's bounded by his word. His word is above his name, right? It's not until after the 3 days and a half that the spirit of life will come back into us. That was during the time of 1970, man. From 1620 to 1970, right? 1620 is when all the tribes were here. Right. So the Most High said, these things I has done and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself. Right. They thought the Most High was a devil like them, an Edomite, man. Because he wasn't destroying them. It tells you that in Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. Because judgment against evil work is not done speedily, the sons of men is fully setting them to do evil, just briefly paraphrasing that precept. So because Yahweh Shemal Shah ultimately didn't judge him, and the reason why is because you're being reserved for Yahweh Shai. Because to take it even deeper, you are Cain. You're being reserved for the day of evil. See? Let me finish out this precept and I'm going to probably close it out soon. Freestyling. Right? So let's read it again. These things thou hast done and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest I was altogether such as one as thyself. They actually started believing the lies they started pushing. But I will reprove thee and I will set them in order before thine eyes. And that's happening right now. He's raising up the 12 tribes from Judah all the way down to Issachar, man. The Most High is setting up his people right before your eyes in the land of our captivity. Right, we're no longer calling ourselves those names. We're surnaming ourselves after the name of Israel. Right, and that's a miracle, man. Because he set up all those different institutions, those colleges, those churches, to push nothing but lies, man. But in the land of the valley of the shadow of death, we got the truth, man. We got the Rakakwadash, man. And call him La Yahweh Shemal Shah. That's why the scripture says that the king of Babylon heard the report, and now he's afraid. He's trembling, the elite. right? And that's why they gonna get around to us, man. See, all this, this is the beginning of Jacob's trouble. All this ICE agents and federal troops. Soon they gonna clamp down more on your First Amendment right, and they gonna come after the prophets, man. Because we're the real enemy, all right? Us, man, the brothers that's pushing this, man. Okay? Let me get and like we told you Jakes before, this man is not your friend, man. These Edomites are not your friend, man. Just provoke them a little bit, and they gonna show you their true colors, man. They're all KKK in the spirit, man. All of them, man. Right? That devil that he spoke his madness, them devils in the South, even these liberal devils, all of them, man. All right, let me get Baruch chapter 4, verse 25. I'm gonna close this out to the prophet Al-Bashim al-Shah, man. So, these devils, they have the audacity, to talk they shit. All right, let me get Baruch, which he is, like we said, a lot of you Jakes, you are degenerates, man. And you gotta go. The 2/3 club, you gotta go, man. Okay? You have to go. There is no repaying you. Okay? You can't be healed. That's Ezekiel the 47th chapter as well. The damage is done. But Yahweh Bashim al-Shah has a remnant. All right? Baruch chapter 4, verse 25, it says, "My children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from the Most High." Us being in this situation that we're in right now, underneath these nations. Okay? "For thine enemy have persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction and tread upon his neck," man. Shortly, man. We gonna see this man go down, man. And we'll have him in captivity. That's Revelation the 13th chapter. And Christianity don't teach that, man. Right? They teach you to be hand in hand and to love the devil like God logic. Cry for him. Crying for CK. All right, and that guy was a straight up racist, man. A supreme racist, man. All right? So the scripture says shortly, man. Shortly. We just got to wait. Okay? Let me get one more precept. I get Wisdom in the 5th chapter. Like it says, and I came on spirit, Exodus 34:7. And it's funny, all these racist devils in the past, they all came back in their lot. They all back in their lot. The same devils that was in the Civil War, they all back in their lot today, man. Right? All them slave masters, all them guys are back in their lot, man. All right? That scripture says, Exodus 34:7, "Keeping mercy for thousands and forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, that will by no means clear the guilty." Right? You're not going to get away. "Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children unto the 3rd and 4th generation." So this is that generation. Okay? All you devils are back in your lot, man. And you showing your true colors, man. And call him La Yahweh Bashim al-Shah. But I'm going to close it out with this Wisdom in the 5th chapter. So it's about to get, let me get Wisdom in chapter 5, verse, "We in perilous times, man." Okay? I did a video, Ecclesiastes 3rd chapter, man. This is the time of hate, man. Everybody's going to show who they truly are before the Lord return, man. Okay? Let me get Wisdom in chapter 5, verse 1, and I'm going to close this out, man. Let's get it. Wisdom in chapter 5, verse 1. It says, "Then shall the righteous man," right? That's Ezekiel. That's going to Ezekiel the 37th chapter, Revelation the 11th chapter. "The dry bones waking back up, shall stand in great boldness before the face of such as afflicted him and made no account of his labors." Right? Like we said, they don't want to give you reparations, man. Right? They tell you stop talking about that. That was in the past. "When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation." When they see us getting beamed up, when they see us getting changed, right? Even when they see some of the spiritual power, man, they gonna know what we saying was true, all right? "So far beyond all they look for, they repenting and groaning for anguish and spirit shall say within themselves and their thoughts, this is he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. See that? Then they gonna know we're truly the sons of the living power, man, that we weren't no damn niggas, man, and spics, man. Right? They gonna groan within themselves, repentant. We fools are counted as life madness and as end without honor. Right? They think we're just born to be forever in servitude or at the bottom or in the ghettos. All right? They gonna say, what? How is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot is among the saints? Therefore we have erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us, man. All right? So they gonna know then that that we're Yasharala, all right? Princes of the power, man. All right? Cool. And we can't wait for this day, man. All right? You know, running short on time. But, you know, call him La Yahweh Shanal Shah, man. You know what I mean? So, you know, these devils, like I said, you know, they shown who they truly are. And that's a beautiful thing, man. Because we've been telling you Israelites that this man was the devil, man. Okay? And guess what? More of these Edomites, like we said, they're pushing these talking points. And they're going to blame the fall of this society on you. All right? So with that, I would like to say, call him La Yahweh Shanal Shah. Shalom.